Welcome to 2016's final episode of Comix Gab. I'm your host, Dre. You might recognize me from every other podcast I've been on this website. I'm a comics artist as well. I have a comic called Dee's Dream. And keep pretty busy.
I'm Andrew Davis. I do the webcomic SamanthaComics.com, and I also make chiptune music under the name Sloopy Goop. And I've been doing both those things for quite a while.
And my name is Corey Bechelli, and I draw a comic called Astral Sass, and I draw some other stuff too.
I'm so happy that you two could join me.
Yeah. Good to be here.
Awesome to be here.
We're here live recorded at Eris Temple in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
Yes. West Philly. And Mercury went retrograde yesterday on the 19th, so that was the perfect time to reflect upon this past year in comics and cartoon art and our own situations as working artists.
That's really good. That's a really good idea.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
I didn't realize Mercury was back in retrograde already.
Yeah. Well, it usually happens 3 times a year, but this year I'm pretty sure it's happened 4 times a year.
So that's pretty big, right?
4 times this year. Yeah, it's kind of uncommon.
Okay. If it's supposed to happen only 3 times a year, we must have missed the memo.
Yeah. Well, this year was totally different.
Because Mercury in retrograde is a bad thing for communication.
Yeah, it is.
Good one.
This year was the leap year.
Was it? I don't even remember.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was.
February 29th.
That's why the whole calendar was thrown off. Yeah, 2016 was a pretty crazy year, but we had so much fun because we did the Zine Fest. All 3 of us were in the Zine Fest.
Philadelphia Zine Fest.
Yeah, the Philly Zine Fest. Yeah. And it was awesome. It was probably the best fest.
A good time. I had fun. I met some good people. I got some good stuff. Your colors are great, by the way.
Thank you. Sometimes when you work with gouache and then you scan it and bring it into Photoshop, it looks really different and not that good. So then you have to start working in digital colors to try to heal what's going wrong. So then it all ends up being digital.
Right. It's almost like the colors you did analog become guidelines almost or something.
Yeah, or somewhat. Sometimes you have to really recolor it.
Wow.
After that because it just doesn't show up right.
I don't know that much about coloring, and it embarrasses me. But I did this big, long storyline on my webcomic that I wanted to color because I wanted it to be special.
Is this when they fight the witch?
Yeah.
No, let me tell you something. Those colors are really good too.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's such a, not to cut you off, but there's such a great, there's something about that way, that black line is so thick, right? And the colors show up. You do it in other things too, because I've seen black and white ones you have where it's mostly black and white, and somehow there's a colored element. There's some kind of a cardboard bridge. That's a different one.
Yeah.
Different comic you drew. But there's something, it's all black and white, but the cardboard bridge is some kind of it looks like a pattern or something kind of drawn into me, the bridge, and it stands out because it's a completely different color, and it looks photographic, like it's a, you know what I mean? Like someone took a photo, applied it as a texture, so it pops out, you know?
It's a scan of a piece of cardboard.
Right. Yeah, and you do some cool things too with colored lines in the story where they fight the witch. There's a part where the lady shoots lasers, right? So the body of the lady's black line, but the lasers and stuff are red lines, and then you color them in a different color than the background. So it's like a special effect.
Yeah.
I think it looks really cool.
Yeah, special effects. That was a good way to put it. That took an extra long time to do those special effects, but they looked really cool. And that story where they fight the witch is with my character Little Circle, who's a parody character of the old Harvey Comics Little Dot character.
Little Dot.
Yep.
Right.
So the way I found to make coloring easier that way, besides those special effects, was to only use the 64 colors you would see printed on a comic book, in the 50s or 60s.
Can I tell you something? I did the same thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
I found a palette of the 64 original colors. I used that in a project. And if I can delve for a second, I did a comic. It was a Back to the Future comic. You know what I did? I took that palette and I said, I need to make this more psychedelic. So all I did, open Photoshop, saturation, 100%. It blew out certain colors, so the palette actually shrunk. So I don't know how many actual color differences there are. Not 64, is that what it's supposed to be?
That's what it was supposed to be, yeah.
Yeah, so it shrunk, but it blew out the colors completely. So I said, yeah. So there's something really interesting about a limited palette, because it makes you think, It makes you make some choices.
Yeah.
If you just have unlimited color, well, you can go,
You can go crazy.
Yeah, the mind boggles.
Sometimes the constraint is really, it's really good. It kind of helps focus things,
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
How do you choose your colors, Dre?
Well, lately I have been thinking about using limited palettes. And sometimes it's not enough, a limited palette, so I add some more colors. Like the last illustration I did, I tried to stick to a limited palette, but then I think the last color I added was like yellow or something. It was like pink, light green, dark green, teal, black, and yellow, and white. And it was painted, so it like kind of had some variations. There's this family portrait I did for Unwinnable. And then I did the background digitally with like the dots, gradation and dots through Photoshop. With Photoshop.
Nice.
Yeah, so it was like a combination of painting and like the digital.
I should see if I can find like a I forget what the acronym is, but like MMORPG is an acronym for like massive multiplayer online role-playing game.
Sure. Yeah.
The open courses, there's a big old acronym for that. It's like
Open courses.
MOOC, massive online course, something.
Like a class or something?
Yeah, Coursera's a great website. Anyway, I should try to find a class online, a free class on color theory.
Yeah, right.
That would be a good one.
Who? Dre, you went to art school.
I did. I
You
studied color
take-
theory too.
Yeah, you did?
Yeah.
Okay.
That probably explains a lot.
I forget if that's a class that I could have taken or that was not available to me, but I should take it now.
Yeah, why not? You always can take classes. How are your colors doing?
You know what?
Corey's colors.
Time out. I really want to touch on something that you said, because I think you hit something. Maybe this is why I feel like I like the colors that you use are like psychedelic. Because recently I've been using highlighters to color things, and I feel like, gee, what's the palette of colors that I use? And what's the palette of colors for highlighters? Blue,
Right. Green.
green. You could say orange too.
Yeah, I actually forgot orange in that color combination I was telling you about.
And
I just
then
realized that.
Paper is white, so you have white and then black.
And black.
So I've been using black Sharpie on white paper. I got a pack of highlighters: blue, yellow, pink. When you put yellow down and then blue on top, it turns green.
Right.
You put yellow down, put pink on top, orangey.
What? Wait, okay.
Yeah. So you can mix the colors a little
Right.
bit.
Yeah.
And then pink, blue on top, purple,
Right.
darker.
Violet.
So there's something about those colors,
Black light.
blacklight colors.
Yeah.
And hold on a second, are these the colors you see when you close your eyes? I really feel like there's a field of black.
When you see the swirls.
Yep. There's some yellow, purple. It's hard to actually differentiate the colors when I look in there, but it's almost like you have to kind of
It's
feel
like a
it.
paisley print.
Yeah.
Wow. I've never heard it described like that. That's
Yeah.
really good. Yeah, that makes sense. If you kind of blur it and like distort it a little bit, but it has that structure.
Right.
Wow.
It's squiggles.
Squiggles. Yeah.
Yeah. Creative people think about the squiggles when you close your eyes. Not everyone does though.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had my eyes closed the last 60 seconds since we were talking about it.
Can you see the squiggles?
Do you see?
Yes.
How are they?
Veiny.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It's always scary after a while when you like think about the squiggles.
Think about the squiggles.
They're taking over.
See the veins.
Because that's what you're technically seeing, you know? You're seeing light coming through your eyelids in some kind of extremely filtered, like, way. So who knows, you know?
Yeah.
The eyes don't just shut off when you close your eyelids, right? They're seeing something. There's not enough light to make it out. I don't know scientifically how it works. I'm not a scientist.
Sounds about right.
Right. Yeah. That's the thing I said before. I've been taking that class, right? The Santoro class, and one of the angles is you do the whole point of the comic. I guess you make a 16-page comic, and it's interesting because he gets you to do it. He says, "Try it like this. You draw an index cards. You draw stuff. So you're drawing out the plot, right? And then on a piece of tracing paper, do the colors, color the comic, and then another piece of tracing paper, do the black lines on top. Like for me, I do the opposite. I always draw. I have to draw. I understand the concept of the brush, and the brush feels so good.
Right.
And maybe
Feels so good.
and painting is really emotional for me. So maybe this is a larger situation where I don't want to be in touch with my emotions, but I don't paint anymore. I don't really use a brush anymore, but I use pens, good flow pens. I understand the brush, but there's something about a good flow pen that you have a little more control. So there's something about those, making those lines, drawing. That's what I have to approach from first. And then there's colors added, usually on Photoshop, you know. But recently I've been doing colors analog with markers. It's partially because the influence of this class I'm taking, where it's like colors first, then lines. So
Wow.
think in those terms. Just as an example, because I usually don't. And that's exactly why I tried to take the class, just as a different infusion of ideas from a different angle. Like, try to shake things up a little bit and consider different points of view. So my colors are pretty great.
Yeah, they are.
I mean, they feel good. I don't know how, you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
I don't
reminds
know,
me of Saved by the Bell's colors. Like in the intro, the song with the squiggles.
yeah.
Yeah.
Feel the blue with
Yeah.
the yellow
Yeah.
That
triangles.
was a very inspiring montage for Saved by the Bell.
Yeah,
A song
right?
intro, right? With all the squiggles and colors.
Triangles in there.
Triangles,
Yeah.
shapes.
Wow.
My favorite art a
Very
lot.
90s.
I think of that.
90s, yeah.
I think about that every time I draw. I'm like, Saved by the Bell squiggles.
You know, it's like a mental inspiration.
Yeah, it is.
It pops up.
And you're like, you want to be saved by the bell, don't you?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey, I've only seen that one piece, I think, the Egyptian piece with your highlighters, but I really liked the effect of the highlighter colors. So it's cool that you've been experimenting with that. Your digital stuff is always psychedelic and interesting also. That's some fun colors there too.
Yeah, that's where it's like, almost like the opposite, except for, well, yeah, yes. Certain comics, I don't use the limited palette like we were talking about. Like, I kind of like using it more than I don't. Kind of. I don't know. There's some comics I do where it's like extreme. The colors are kind of like, it's like a game with Photoshop. Let's figure it out kind of thing. Let's explore it. You know, in the lines I draw, a lot of times I color in my lines. So the actual black line is kind of like a guide to the future. And I throw it out. I basically don't use it, you know. So there's different approaches. There's like a, you know, I draw the comic called Astral Sass, right? And I feel like for that, the rule I give myself is to do it whatever way it makes sense. Whatever, who cares? Whatever way you feel. So that oftentimes goes crazy. But other things, yeah. The limited palette too, it helps. I just want to say technically, you can draw something, if you're using black lines, you can draw something in black. And then I've been making things like 1200 DPI bitmap and then using the click, you know, the paint bucket to fill in the colors. So it speeds coloring up.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
I like drawing as much as the next guy, but you gotta have a tablet. I feel like,
Yeah?
look
You
out.
need a tablet?
I need a tablet because look out for my wrist.
Yeah. You don't want arthritis.
I feel like I'm getting there. I can feel sometimes after I draw for a while, my wrist kind of hurts. And sometimes I think, is that too much?
Maybe you should
using
wear
a
one of
mouse?
those, like, gloves that are from CVS.
I've been thinking about that actually.
I've seen people do that.
Yeah. I feel good right now, but
That would be, like, really artsy.
Preventive measures.
yeah.
If you, like, showed up to, like, a comics jam with, like, a glove like that on.
Sequin glove. This is my drawing hand. Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question, Andrew?
Uh-huh.
Is it true? I think I saw something on the internet that said something like draw with the left hand. Is that true?
That's only true sometimes. If I'm using the brush, I'm using my right hand.
Right.
For the Samantha comics, if I'm using a pen, I'm using my left hand.
So I want to ask you a question. There's a comic called something like Mr. President. Did you draw that with a pen with your left hand?
Yes, with the pen with my left hand. I did the lettering with the right hand because that makes me too much. But the border lines and the characters are left-handed.
I might say something that's gonna shock some people.
What?
And I hope everyone is sitting down. I really like that.
Oh, thanks.
Left-handed pen drawing is really good. I like the brushwork too. I want to say I like both, but there's something about that pen drawing. I think it resonates with me more just because I draw with pen too. So there's something I could see myself in it. So, and maybe it's also because in the way that the comics are presented on the internet, it just seems like there's more brush drawings than pen drawings. So that's another thing where the pen drawings kind of stand out a little bit more to me. There was can I go tell a story? I'm going to tell your own comic to you.
All right.
Okay.
There's a president and a secretary, and the secretary says, "Mr. President, I'm sad because you're leaving." And the president says, "You'll still be here, but I'm going to change how I look on the outside, but I will always look the same on the inside." And the last panel, the president is ripping himself in half, and he's the devil on the inside.
What?
Great comic. Cracked me up. You're laughing at your own joke. It's funny. That was a good comic. I really enjoyed that one. I liked the message. I liked how it looked. The devil, everything's in black lines except for the devil's a red line. And it's black and white comic, so it's like the devil. You see it before you get to it. I don't know how many panels. 4 panels? 5? I forget what.
I think it's just like 3, maybe even 4 or 3.
Yeah, it's 2 tiers, I think. So it's like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, the 4th panel is a punchline. It's like it's great. It's good.
Thank you.
It was cool. Yeah. Which brings us to something I wanted to talk about. The difference in the narrative structure of the comics that Dre does and Andrew does. And I think it also makes sense in terms of how we're having a conversation. And that's what's beautiful, because it's like the thought processes of the individual artists that really come to the fore, and it really makes a lot of sense. It's like how can I say this? There's something about Dre's comics that are like, first of all, the one comic you have is called Dee's Dream, right?
Right.
There's a dream element to everything that happens there. It's something for me. This is for me. There's something to do with the way it's drawn. There's something to do with the brushwork. It's just like floating, and it's kind of like a cloud puffing in a certain way, you know. And it's like, I don't know. For me, that comic narratively, I'm following the art. You know what I mean? And Andrew, I feel like there's a certain way where you draw where it's like there's a plot obsession in a certain way. And that's the other thing. Dre's comics, they really concern interpersonal relationships and like feelings toward other people and feeling toward things and like situations, you know? Andrew's comics are more like there's a plot that goes through it, and it's almost like, because you're drawing it, I can just see like you're drawing it with a pen, so it's almost like it's like coming out of you in a certain way. Like it's almost like seems like you're trying to keep up with the plot that's like pouring out of your mind, because
with the pen or the brush,
with everything, it doesn't matter what it is, because you're structured in a way where you have a fictional narrator. That's the thing. There's a fictional narrator named Samantha that writes her comics, and it seems like Andrew Davis is trying to keep up with Samantha as she tells the story. It's almost like Samantha is, telling the story in a certain way. You know, it's like you're trying to keep up. Where it's almost like you're in the dream in a certain way. Like you're there. I don't know how. Does that make any sense? Does any of this make any sense? And I'm trying to say this in the best way possible.
It does.
And these are like great. And that's the thing that blows my mind too. It's like two people still do comics, but they can approach from completely different ways. Both ways are still really good and still really valid. And it's just like, it's so exciting to see. Like I never would have thought of that. You know, as a creative person myself, I get hyped because I'm just like, you know, I wish I could see every single possibility, because that way you pick whatever the best one is. You know, so it's exciting to see like approaches you never would have even thought of in your own, you know, in your own thought process. So I don't know if I made a valid or coherent point at all in any of this.
That was very nice to hear that you really took the time to analyze the way we structure our work.
Does that make sense anyway?
Yes,
Is it?
it totally makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, you described that pretty astutely. Yeah, Dre's comics are very much the reader is right there in the present with the events on her pages. It's there to be experienced in the experience.
You like anime, right?
Yeah, I totally love anime.
Yeah, it really
Yes.
comes through in the work. There's the key Dre panels are just like the introduction of like the new person. It's like there's this like sparkle around the people. Classic. It's a classic. There's the way you use that kind of framing is so good. It's just like it's almost like a cue of like this is a person. Like look at this. Like this is their vibe. This is pay attention. You know, that kind of thing. And then
Yeah, she's good. She's good with the cues, the beats, the notes. This person's happy. This person's sad in reaction.
very expressive.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
comics lexicon
Yeah,
Right.
that you've introduced me to, which I've heard a couple times after you said that on the podcast. Remember you mentioned it on the podcast before? I was like, what's a lexicon? And you said it's the language. It's like comics lexicon is the
Right.
language of comics. And then I actually saw that like in a really old book, like at the library or something. I saw that like old book.
I
Did I
think
mention
Ward
that?
Walker did like some old book, but I never read it.
It must be that book.
Yeah, just like what this symbolizes, or when a character is drawn this way, it means this. And
Yes. Yeah.
The grammar of comics.
I
You
can
know.
remember.
yeah.
I've looked at a lot of old Archie comics lately, and you know when someone moves and you draw like two parentheses like above their arm or something to denote movement.
That's the wiggle.
Yeah, a lot of wiggles in those
Wiggles
Archie
and
comics.
squiggles.
It's like every panel, there's wiggles everywhere. Like
Yes.
everyone's moving. There's not this like still life drawing. There's a lot of like implied movement. It's
Oh,
really
yeah.
interesting.
I love
It's like
Archie comics.
this is the grammar of the art form that you're tapping into more Japanese version. I think. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like
Yeah, it seems like it. There's Archie
Yeah.
too.
yeah, right.
Maybe they're trying to tap into Japanese influence though. There are current artists there.
Current artists there. Yeah, I've been reading a lot of the current Archie comics since they rebooted all their titles now.
In 2016, they rebooted them, changed the Archie
Yeah.
house style. Right, it's no
Yeah.
longer Dandy
But-
Carlo centric that kind of drawing. I don't know
Yeah.
who eventually
They've been
created.
adding a lot of new, like a lot of like different types of art, which I'm like, I wish they would just kind of like stick it to the classic Archie though.
Right.
I
Look.
wish that still existed more than just on supermarket shelves. Like they still print the digest, which maybe still have one or two new stories in them, but yeah, I miss having that in contrast to everything. But they've definitely been doing interesting things.
Yeah.
And one of the thing is that in most of their new rebooted titles, they'll have like a backup story, like 4 to 8 pages, depending on whatever they're running, of classic Archie comics.
Reprints or new ones?
Reprints, so like something from the 40s maybe, or something from 1990 or like 1983, just different periods to show them off and take up space and like, actually provide that fun contrast that has the history of Archie. It's like, oh yeah, it used to be this, but now it's this, and it's a really neat way to do a backup feature.
And it's a really important thing to do, especially for comics, because a lot of times, can I connect something? Take, for example, never saw the movie. There's a movie called Hellboy, right? Based on a comic called Hellboy. Mike Mignola, right? Is that how you say his name? So the draw for me, why would I read or want to buy a Hellboy comic? Because of the way it's drawn. So when they made the movie, it looks nothing like the way it's drawn. It's like, this is real life, so they have like makeup and like special effects. So they like transferred the idea. But this is comics, bro. How it looks is important. So that's why it's cool that Archie reprints stuff in the original style, because that's important. They're taking the new version, the rebooted version, is taking the idea and stripping the artwork. But the artwork is still valid. And for Archie comics, the artwork is the reason why people like it. Because the story, no offense, stories might be bad sometimes.
Yeah.
You know?
But now it's like a Dawson's Creek type of thing.
Right.
They're-
Update.
Yeah. It's like college is drama. It's not really like aimed at children.
It's definitely not
Not
really
college,
aimed at,
high school.
yeah, it's definitely
High
not
school.
aimed at children anymore. Which it's always sort of hard to say who it was really aimed at, because it's like, oh, well, it's for kids, but then, it's like Archie's checking out all the girls, and, this is for kids, or is this for, like, people older than kids?
Mm-hmm.
Well, you can at least say it's
But
like
it's-
told with a more quote unquote modern sensibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's
like that kind of
savvier writing. They're not trying to just limit themselves to what kind of story can we possibly tell in this issue that we haven't already done to death, using this style. So they're drawing out the story more, actually building on it from a character standpoint. The Mark Waid Archie books have been really interesting and funny. Jughead, though, is the one you really want to pick up.
Jughead.
Jughead. He's
They-
like a hottie now.
They started
He's
out.
not like needle nosed as much.
He still has a big pointy nose. Though. He doesn't smirk his eyes closed as much.
His eyes
as he
aren't
used to.
closed anymore.
He still has the crown though, and that's important.
It looks good.
They started out with Chip Zdarsky writing it, and he did a really good run. And Ryan North is actually writing it for the moment, and Ryan North is just hilarious.
Who draws it?
Erica Henderson did the first 6 issues. This guy called Derek Charm is the current artist, I think. But if you're just picking up one, you're like, man, I want to see what this new stuff's about. You should pick up the Jughead one because it will not let you down.
Nice.
Do you ever make? Let's a little small tangent just for a second. When I don't know who buys comics, I try not to buy anything. I buy food because I'm a human and I have to eat.
I love food too.
So if you buy a comic, do you ever take into consideration? These are the things I think about. So maybe I'm insane. Like, do you ever take into consideration like which comic should I buy? And I'll give you an example. I looked at this is from last year, The Ultimates #1, published by Marvel, published by Disney, right? And that's Kenneth Rocafort is the artist. Al Ewing is the writer, and some kind of cosmic Galactus becomes the life bringer. Dope, right? But then the other thing, I think it was Transformers versus G.I. Joe. Tom Scoldy?
Oh yeah, Sicoli or something.
Right, I'm not exactly sure how to say his name.
Sicoli.
Yeah, published by IDW, I think. I chose to buy the IDW one because I thought to myself, Disney has enough money.
Right.
Disney has enough money.
And IDW does more like indie
Right.
They do.
titles.
So let me throw the money at the thing I support.
Yeah.
You can find, because of the corporate nature of the other thing, you can find them online somehow. And that's awesome too. And those guys are getting paid, which is good. But, at the same time, so when you buy comics, do you ever think about that? Or do you even like the idea of like, I'll spend money on zines or mini comics and not even comic shop stuff?
Yeah.
Does that ever factor in? Or is it just like, well, if it's good, it's good. Like, who cares?
That's more my way of thinking. If it's good, it's good.
Right.
They're at least hiring these people to produce this work that I'm really enjoying and appreciating, so I can support them in their support of
Right.
these writers and artists.
Because you want people to get paid for work. You want,
Yeah.
Especially artists,
And if I'm eating it up, I want it to keep going.
Right.
Yeah, so like Marvel may be a giant part of an even gianter corporation, but once again, they're paying Ryan North to write a comic book. Squirrel Girl is fantastic, and just knowing that I can get that every month, it's like yes.
Yeah. And Ryan North's a guy, Dinosaur Comics, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's a guy that did comics for free on the website for years,
Yeah.
for a long time.
That reminds us of us.
Right,
That's like us.
So now you're saying, I see him in a comic, I'm going to buy the comic partially because of this guy.
Mhm.
Which is like, well, good. That's how it should work. I don't know. That's how it does work. That's how
Yeah.
it can work.
Keep
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep the torch up.
I'm buying usually at least one comic book every Wednesday, sometimes
Wow.
many more. It all
Yeah.
depends. When it's many more, yeah, that's a more expensive purchase, but mostly I justify it to myself either by thinking, well, small pleasures, you need a few of those in life.
Yeah.
And then when it's a higher load, when more stuff comes in for me one week, it's just like, well, it's Wednesday, and then this will happen sometimes. That's Wednesday.
Yeah, it's Wednesday, New Comics Day.
Comic Day.
That's right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Free Comics Day.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So sometimes you only get like a few pages of a single story, and then a few pages of a different story. And it's like, oh man, I want more.
Yeah.
I just want more
They
story.
give you a little taste. That's what it's all about.
I want more story for my free.
Yeah. They did an free Archie one with a new story.
That's right. Yeah.
Last Free Comics Day in May, I believe it is.
Always May, first Saturday.
I got
First
a lot of
Saturday.
kids stuff, and I brought it to my comics class I teach, and they kind of tore it up. But new Archie was in there, like My Little Pony, Strawberry Shortcake, like all the same titles that from my youth. There's basically the same ones.
Yep.
So there was a Sonic comic, like a Pokemon
Sonic.
comic. Yeah. Like how long are you gonna keep using Sonic? It's been like 30 years.
Only 25.
Only 25.
I've been following very closely since 1991.
Yeah, it seems like everyone keeps on recycling the same stuff.
That's true. Has anyone seen, like, DC's been publishing these Hanna Barbera comics this year?
Totally different. Totally another, just like Archie, totally drawn differently.
Yeah.
Not in a Scooby-Doo style.
What?
Yeah, but it's
Right.
like not.
Like that's like
It's really
can't be
weird.
done.
They have. Yeah, there's a Scooby one. It's Scooby Apocalypse. It's like, what if it's the actual apocalypse, but with the Scooby-Doo gang, but drawn weirdly, and maybe we can say hell in it, and people look realistic.
Right. I feel like Howard Porter was the artist for at least the first issue.
I've been sneaking reads of the Flintstones ones as they're coming out, and
Drawn realistically, not
drawn
drawn like.
realistically. It's really
Why?
strange. I
don't know. How is?
Well, there was that movie, real life movie.
Yeah. Have you
like
read
20
it?
years ago.
Did you?
Yeah.
25 years ago.
25 years ago.
Did you read the Flintstones comic?
I have been sneak reading the Flintstone comics, most of them.
How's the
since
story?
they've been coming out.
Does it make sense that it's drawn like that?
Sometime, no.
No. Can you not get past the Flintstones are drawn too realistic to enjoy the comic?
That's kind of always there. That's kind of always there. I think it would be a much more enjoyable comic if they kept this. They could keep the script all the same. They've made it a little bit more adult than the cartoon on TV. They can say hello, damn. Fred and Barney, they're water buffaloes because that's like the veterans group. They were in a war against the tree people, and there have been a couple like realistic looking violent deaths over the course of this book, which is really strange, really disturbing.
Yeah, it is disturbing.
So is that what
but
happens?
They could keep all that if they just drew it cartoony, and it would be much more enjoyable.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine the difference? Like that kind of you'd go in expecting classic Flintstones, and then all of a sudden, whoa!
Oh no!
Totally different.
Oh, now I want to travel back in time 6 months, buy every issue, and redraw them as like the Hanna-Barbera house style, just for funsies.
Right. I mean, that is the ultimate. That's one of the issues with like Dre was saying, like characters from childhood coming back into vogue like later in your life, because all these characters are owned by giant companies, right? So they have a certain shelf life, and they say, well, we still own this character. We got to make money with it. So what can we do to make money with it? Someone can say, I have a totally different take on Flintstones.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was drawn realistic. And imagine if I could say hell or damn. And they're like, go, give him money, do it. Let's do Scooby-Doo. These are the kind of decisions where it's like, you got to use this somehow, and people get fed up with the same thing, I guess, or the same thing because just like Archie, like we were talking before. They decided to change the style, the visual style, for a reason. I mean, people like that style. People also don't like it. So it's just an attempt to get another version of it out there, because why not, right?
With Archie, I think it's a difference between they're trying to keep their brand alive, but with these Hanna-Barbera ones from DC, I feel like that's probably not a very high-stakes venture for them. Like,
right.
Sure, they were sitting on the Flintstones, but it was either do nothing with them like they've been, or maybe they could do this weirdo comic book series that most people won't read, but some people will be intrigued enough that they can make a little bit of money on the side off this dusty old concept of the Flintstones.
Yeah, it's so dusty, like prehistoric.
Dust.
Stones, age dust.
Geological, like
Fossilistic.
science words. Yeah, big, a lot of dirt on top of everything. Is Hanna Barbera owned by Warner Brothers?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. Are they? I don't know.
Yeah, they have been
Yeah.
for a little while.
Well, that explains
For like
why.
a couple decades. Because Warner Brothers has DC, of course.
So how about, so here's the natural progression of this question, right? We're talking about corporations who some people unbelievably view as humans. Far-fetched idea, right? So how do actual people deal with their own ideas? Because, hold on, we're all here older than like one, okay?
Yeah.
So, and I assume, I don't know exactly, but I assume both Dre and Andrew have been drawing for a while, and you've had ideas for stories for a while. So how often is there this kind of like internal recycling of ideas that goes on? Like you had an idea for one project, and then like 5 years later, you're like, you know what, I'm going to take that and redo it somehow. Just like we're saying, like the Flintstones, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that always happens. Like,
Right? It's a natural thing, right? Is it?
right? Maybe those ideas like had that shelf life that you could save, put in the cupboard and save.
Yeah.
Bring it out again in the
Bring it out
future.
in the future.
You can explore different ideas, different ways, or you can just recycle concepts. It depends. It depends on your audience, like, and if they've already seen it, or if they'll appreciate seeing it again a different time around. I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's mostly about, is it still interesting to you?
Yes.
That's really the bottom line.
But then at what point does that kind of become like a theme of one's work? I mean, these are like grandiose theories, right? But does that, I'm assuming, correct me if I'm wrong, all of us here create some kind of body of work that can be like looked at, and it has its own like internal cohesion and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, like constant repetition of something becomes like a theme. It becomes like, if you're constantly talking about whatever, it's going to come out in the work, So there's like a level where like you can recycle an idea, but it kind of transforms into something. This is what I'm talking about, versus I'm trying to get a point across. Here's the idea in how to do it,
Yeah. Where is a line?
I don't know if there is. I mean, yeah. It seems like I do it. I do it a
Maybe
lot
you
too.
can only call it retroactively, right?
Yeah, right?
That's a difficult question.
I don't know the answer. I know internally for me, there's a lot of like, I always think about like comics and what I'm drawing, right? And then I go into my own like continuity holes, like, well, how does this fit? How does this make sense? And then it's like, you have a lot of ideas scattered all over. And sometimes like, well, how about, this is all in your mind, right? How about this idea? And you go with that for a while, because you didn't draw it yet. But that's the idea. Then you say, how about this one? How about this one? You end up reusing a lot of the same ones in different places. But
Yeah.
no one sees them until you actually draw it. So in your mind, I've reused a ton of things all the time. But it's almost like, it's become the point where it's like, I have an idea. At what point is it the right time to do it? At what point, and to do it means to bring it into real life and actually draw it. Put it down on paper in a comic. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a lot of stuff that I'm sitting on that I fully intend and really want to do. It's just, now is not the right time to focus attention on that.
Yeah.
But when they finally see the light of day, it'll be great. It'll be a little release, like now I don't have to worry about sitting on it anymore because it's already done.
How do you, so taking that into account, how do you choose what to work on? You know what I mean? Like, because we have a finite amount of time. We got to work on stuff.
Yeah.
We might not get to everything. That's scary.
Right.
So how do we choose?
Usually deadlines help a lot.
Right? Self-imposed or external?
Either one.
Right.
But it's self-imposed.
External is stronger.
Yeah, exactly.
I think so.
That's what I was going to say.
Because you're relying on other people, so someone else can be like, excuse
Someone's
me.
like, ahem.
Yeah, a base instinct of like someone yelling at you or some kind of like
Yeah, or like
admonishment.
I'm nudging you, or
Right.
nudging.
Whereas internally, you nudge yourself.
You're like, I don't care. It could be like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, go to hell, buddy. Hey. Yeah, that kind of thing. Wow, yeah.
That has happened to me.
Which is why I think it's important, like things like Zine Fest.
Zine Fest or Fun A Day.
Or Fun A Day.
That's an amazing event, and it's coming up soon.
Fun A Day.
2017. Yes.
The idea of Fun A Day is that
Let's all do it.
every day in January, do something. It doesn't matter what it is.
And January is like the most boringest month of all.
Heart of winter, cold
Right.
and dark, right?
So dark
Yeah.
and cold. And
So-
nothing's going on.
Do something fun. That was the original idea. Like, do something fun. Doesn't matter what it is. You do it, and I do it. And then we keep each other accountable.
Right.
Well, what are we doing? You make a song, I'll draw something, you bake a pie. Who cares? It doesn't matter. Whatever the output is, doesn't matter. The idea is just to do something, So the deadlines do help us,
Yeah, and that's coming up next year. I'm really excited.
January 1st, 2017 is the 13th.
That's like a few days from now.
It is.
And we're going to start a project. Are you going to do it, Andrew?
I'd really like to. Wait,
I'm
you said
gonna
it
do
starts
it.
mid-month? January?
No, it starts the 1st.
January 1st is when it technically starts.
Do something once a day.
That's the theory, but at the same time, I mean, I've been doing it for 13 years, so there's so many different ways to do it. Like, sometimes you do something every day, and you have 31 things. Sometimes I do something every day. That's the thing. There's an art show at the end of it, so the idea is like to share your work with everybody.
The art show is cool.
Yeah, but you can. I've done like 20 things. I've done one thing. I've done multiple things. Like, usually I try to think, just do something every single day. What that output becomes, it doesn't necessarily become 31 pieces of art. Mm-hmm. It can become, 20 pages split between 2 comics. That aren't finished yet. So it's like just something. It's almost like a reminder, like, don't forget to do something.
Yeah.
Well, otherwise,
and
what?
there's more pressure because it's like a public thing.
Right.
That a result.
Yeah. But you also don't have to. I've been years where I didn't put art in the show. I just went.
You just went.
Yeah. I mean, I helped organize it, but I just went. Because I didn't feel the need to put anything up. Just like it didn't matter,
Yeah.
But he still did something. So it's kind of trying to be. I hope it's malleable, because that's the thing. That's what we're talking about. It's someday we're going to die, so we don't have time. We don't have infinite time to do everything.
It's crazy how fun it is, like in every city.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, and you started it. You're like the father.
I'm one of the 4 people that originally organized it. Yeah.
It happens everywhere. Delaware and Wilmington, they do it.
Did you see that? There was like 100 people. 100 artists.
They do it at the Delaware Contemporary.
It was
like
huge.
A pretty nice place.
Unbelievable. And I think last year Fun Day was 80. I think it was 80 artists.
In Philly?
In Philadelphia, yeah. Which is a lot, but 100 blew my mind because you think about it, a lot of people do it 31 things, so you have 31 pieces of art. So 31 times 100. 3,100 pieces of art. Theoretically, I mean, people do whatever they want, but
wow,
100 people is a big show.
Yeah, they like rent that art museum, the Delaware Contemporary. They rent it. In fact, they're doing September as their month for doing something each day, and then like
are they?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they just changed it to September because that's the time they could rent the museum. They were doing it winter time too, but not exactly the same month, but.
That's great.
Yeah, is that great? Because it's like different time of year.
Do what makes sense. And that's the whole purpose of Fun Day. Do what makes sense. It doesn't make sense in January, so do it some other time.
Yeah.
The point is to do it.
Just
doesn't matter what it is. Wow, that's great.
I think their show's in October, maybe. I don't know. I talked to somebody from that organization at Oddball Art Hall last weekend.
Now, what was that? Oddball Art Hall?
Yeah, it's a thing that happens in Delaware that I go to sometimes. That's kind of hard for me to get there sometimes.
Where in Delaware?
It's in Wilmington at this bar called the Oddity Bar, which is really cool. It's like black and white. No, it's black and red, and cool pictures, and it's run by this really cool guy named Pat. And then Oddball Art Hall is these 2 illustrators that I've met through Eris Temple. They organize it, and it's like a little art show at the bar, and there's a DJ, and then there's even a model. You can draw the model and you can sell your stuff.
So it's an art show and a life drawing class at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's cool.
And a bar.
Yeah. You can drink, sell your comics,
good beers,
draw something.
Yeah.
Good beer.
It's like the best bar there. It's like the 2 best bars in Wilmington is the Oddity Bar, and then right next door is 1984, and they're kind of like friends.
Nice.
Yeah. Those are the 2 best bars in Wilmington.
Right.
Yeah. And I met all those people through Eris Temple because Pat, the guy who's one of the organizers of Oddball Art Hall, he's in a band, and they played here, and I played too or something, and started talking to him, and then he's like, yeah, I organized this event in Wilmington, and I was like, okay, so I started to go there, and really like it down there.
Wow.
There's a really good art store there. Jerry's Artarama.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
You can order from them on Amazon or online from Jerry's.
Nice.
Yeah, so you don't even have to go there, but I highly recommend using them.
Yeah. Well, it sounds great. It sounds like a great idea to to potentially copy too.
Yeah.
Bar
Yeah, because
with an
the
art
bar
show
makes their own
and
money.
a model.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they copied a little bit from Big Art Show. You ever been to that?
Wow, big art show. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
about that. That's
Yeah, I
the
used to do
people
that.
that remember the pterodactyl art
Yeah.
space. They ran that,
Yeah,
and now they also run Fireball Printing.
yeah.
It's those people. I had a show at Pterodactyl years ago. It's like up Amber
It's like-
Street or something.
Yeah, Amber.
Yeah,
It's like a
so I remember
special
being in
street.
contact with them. Yeah, because Big Art Show, I
Off
thought
of Lehigh.
that was like
Aramingo. It's off of Aramingo.
right. Yeah,
No, not Aramingo. It's off of Allegheny.
yeah. You're talking about
Yeah.
what?
A lot of people use Fireball printing. Do you?
I never have.
Do you?
Mm-mm.
I have in the past.
How do you? How are the prices compared to what you get? How's
The
that?
prices are good.
Is it worth doing?
I like going to like a place where I can like go to and like watch everything happen
What did you
and
get?
like talk back and forth. But
What did you get printed and what? Like what? How was it printed? Did you get a comic printer or
it
prints
had
printed? Or-
comics printed.
What kind of did they have like a laser copier or like a risograph or something? They have
They don't have
offset
a
printing.
risograph.
Like, what do they have? Like a digital printer?
They have a couple digital printers.
Right. So overall, it was okay. Good.
It was good. I would recommend them. They do delivery, so you can get delivered
That's good. Free delivery.
free. I think so. Free delivery in anywhere in Philly.
Bonus. Good
Proper.
to know.
Philly proper.
Mailing address in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah, the postcards I had from the art show the 40th Street they were printed at Fireball.
Oh, okay.
To do the postcards.
I can picture that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're gonna end this podcast pretty soon. This was a very meaty one, and I thank both of you. And
No problem.
Thank
yeah.
you. Thank you
Thank
both.
Thank
Awesome.
you.
I could talk for another 10 hours.
Yeah, we
Amazing.
probably could at this point. So I just wanted to end with everyone here saying what their favorite highlight of 2016 was as we say goodbye to it.
Goodbye, 2016.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
see you
It's pretty
never.
much the end. Hopefully this podcast comes up before New Year's, so it'll be more relevant. What was your favorite thing that happened,
Andrew.
Andrew?
Well, 2016 was. I didn't perform often during 2016, but I did some significant performances with my music stuff.
I'll say, I think so. I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
Probably fun.
How do you feel about that? It seems like you did a great job. How do you think? What do you think?
Well, I did the Scranton Fringe Festival at the very beginning of October, and did a whole bunch with Game Boys, and was part of a second show where I sang an accordion song with light technology from my Game Boy show.
Wow.
My Game Boy show was called the Dorothy Matrix 8-Bit Orchestra. It was 8 classic Nintendo Game Boys all playing music at the same time.
Wow.
So many
This is
notes, many square waves all sounding at once to play the full orchestra scores of classical music. And I dressed in drag as a conductor, Dorothy Matrix.
The persona.
The persona of Dorothy Matrix, aka Dot Matrix.
So was it like leather?
No, it was.
That's good. Dot Matrix, too. It took me about a month before I realized Dot Matrix was the jokes. Good job.
I had so many ideas. I was like, it could be Dorothy Matrix, the Dominatrix, but it was basically just professional-looking conductor attire. I pantomimed actually conducting the music with a baton. There were lights that were flashing with the music, and it went really well.
Nice.
And I got to pull that off all by myself with some assistance from Corey Cram, who helped me out. But that was my brainchild.
Beautiful.
It's great. And can I just say one thing?
It was really exciting to bring that to completion. That was my highlight, I think.
It was great. I just want to say I saw a truncated version of that. Corey Cram had a show for the Solo Fest, and at that show, Sloopy Goop opened, and I feel like it was Sloopy Goop. Correct me if I'm wrong. There was one Game Boy, right?
There was
You
one,
conducted, or was there two?
maybe two. There was maybe two.
There were 2 Game Boys being conducted, so I saw that. That was amazing. So you're saying
thanks.
this was like times 4 or something,
Times 8.
plus times 8, plus lights, plus everything.
Yeah.
So
times 4.
I can only imagine.
This was exponential.
Exponential.
Nice.
That's great.
Thanks. I'm glad just the one went down so well. Yeah, that was sort of the pilot of that concept.
Right. The test. Yeah. A+. That's a test. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh,
Standing ovation.
What was the highlight for you?
Well, the concept of zero. This is what we're going to talk about now.
Yes.
I read a book called Sacred Geometry. I don't know the author's name. I can't remember the author's name.
Cool.
So part of the concept of sacred geometry is talking about in the beginning. It's a textbook basically that has like words, and then it has like workbook pages. And on the workbook pages, it's literally get a compass, get a ruler, draw a square, and then like draw a circle inside the square, and on like that. So the first chapter, the text talks about numbers and the concept of numbers. And it kind of goes into things like one, like taking human history as a whole, like back in the dawn of humanity, the dawn of numbers, one was the first number. One is the concept of one, contains everything. Everything is one.
Yeah.
And from there, I recognize the other within the self, two. That kind of thing. Oh, there's someone different. That's a two. There's two different things. 3, 4, and from on and on and on. So the interesting part is he brings up the concept of zero and the idea that zero was created by like some kind of offshoot sect of like Hindu monks in India or Buddhist monks in India that they were experimenting with like complete nothingness. The concept of nothingness. So then somehow zero was derived from that, of nothing, zero. So that would be almost like place before one, because that zero traveled to Europe, and early capitalists adopted it as a way to like keep track of money, basically ledgers and numbers. 1 and 0, boom, 10, that kind of thing. Where even zero, like zero became on the timeline, zero became before one. So it's almost like zero is the first number, and from that.
0 is the first number.
Right, but then even there's not, because there's an infinite continuum in both directions. So what's before 0? Infinity, -1, -2, -3, and negative infinity in both ways. So almost like it took the concept, the traditional concept of like time and numbers starting at 1. It's like, no, there is no start point anymore. It's almost like all relative. And it's interesting too, because it goes on to talk about ancient Egyptians. Their numbering system didn't have a 0. They had 1. They had numbers below 1. They had 1/2, 1/3. Almost the idea that 1 itself is infinity and can be divisible in an infinite number of ways.
Mm.
But then never to 0, never to nothing. It's almost like there can't be nothing.
Mm-hmm.
There always has to be something. So I don't know, that book really made me think about it, because then also the idea of like 0 permeates Western culture to the point where it could be an inspiration for like existential philosophy, or just the concept of like the self, and like what is what is the meaning of anything. Like nothing matters, right? There is no God. Like one would be God. One contains all. No, there's nothing. Like not even your position on the scale of numbers matters anymore, because once 0 is introduced, there is no number line. It just becomes this infinite array of stuff. So I don't know, a lot to think about, but it was really interesting. Kind of, never really thought about numbers in a deep way.
That's beautiful.
It was great. It was really interesting. That sacred geometry, I don't know the author's name, but it's something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's probably like a code name, like not like his true name, but it's like, or her name, like a pen name.
Wow, might be. Yeah.
Most likely. And I wanted to point out, Comix Gab's podcast started off with episode 0.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I was probably like following the same concept you were just talking about.
Wow.
And why was it 0 and not 1?
Because I thought 0 is a number.
It is,
0
right?
is a number.
0 is a concept, that's
It's a
for sure.
concept.
Yeah.
And it was right before New Year's Day or Eve. It was like a week before that. And I thought New Year's should be 1. This is before that.
So it was the one that wasn't 1 yet.
Yeah.
Whoa.
It was 0.
And New Year's is
It's pretty weird.
1/1, January 1st.
Sometimes I wish I didn't do that.
Well.
Oh, well.
But now it's too
That's
late.
fine. Yeah, you're not the only one.
Yeah, 0. It starts at 0.
Dre, what was the highlight of 2016 for you?
You know what? I'm actually not even sure. I had a really good year overall of my career, art career. I did a lot of stuff. I started doing political comics.
That's cool.
Did those art shows. Cosplay Lifelong Club came to a fruition and became something, so that was a cool concept.
Yeah.
And I did Comix Gab episodes. We did Too Many Games and Zine Fest. That was everything. That's pretty much everything. So that was my highlight. That was my
Productive.
highlight.
If you don't have just one thing but a string, that's
Yeah. I'm just
That's the
pretty
way to
excited.
be.
Yeah, I did a lot of stuff. I tried to do some new things. It failed. Some things.
Well, how else are we going to learn?
Yeah, as an entrepreneur, you always have to try like all sorts of things, and you never know until you try. But you sort of know somehow, kind of.
Right.
So yeah, on to the next year.
2017, into the future.
Into the future, and that's what you think about a lot.
The future.
The future and time travel.
Time travel. We're traveling through time right now.
Yeah.
You know, time doesn't stay still.
Yeah, and then when the podcast comes out, it'd be even more like time travel because it'll be listener, you're listening,
these are voices of the past.
voices of the past.
Who knows what it's like? Because in real life, there were 3 people sitting around a table. But who knows when this will be listened to?
Yeah.
It can be listened to by anyone at any point in time.
Yeah.
Theoretically.
Maybe even in the distant future.
Distant future, which hopefully exists.
Yeah.
We are pro-human here. We're pro-life in terms of we like things to be
We like
alive.
to be alive.
Yes.
And we want to keep alive. But I think death might not be the end.
That's true. We don't know.
Or it's not.
The great unknown.
Eh.
Right.
All right. Well, thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jake.
Thank you.